She had no colour prejudice whatsoever.
And she sold herself on her CV, Lady C, as Caucasian.
Yes. Yeah. And she also made sure that her mother only came to her graduation.
Are you serious?
Her mother never went to one event at that school. I know this from one of her teachers. She never went to one event at her except her graduation. You know, so for all we know, it could have been an imitation of like thing. And oh, there's my nanny.
God, shocking. Now, the thing is, Lady C, though, every single project at the moment that they touch just
hey, y'all, come look at this.
Goes horribly wrong. And the latest was the launch of the Parents Network, which may have been another factor behind Josh Kettler's departure, of course, because they were expecting this to be a big hit. But it really wasn't. And actually, it shows you how much their stock has fallen, that they give the first interview, and I want to look at some of the key moments from that interview to get your reaction, actually, in just a moment. But they deliver their first joint interview.
Are you serious?
Lady C, since Oprah Winfrey, which stopped the world. It may have stopped the world for all of the wrong reasons, but it did stop the world. And actually, there was just a bit of a dismissive shrug.
You had an experience.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
That connects you to these families. And I see you touch your husband's hand in just the way I knew that you would be looking after each other if I went places. But the connection that you have with people is they know you had suffered too, personally. Contemplating killing yourself is what suicidal ideation was. And I'm dancing around this because I can see you're uncomfortable with my even going there. Do you?
Fact.
I understand why you are, though. I wasn't expecting it, but I understand why you are, because there is a through line, I think. And when you've been through any level of pain or trauma, I believe part of our healing journey, certainly part of mine, is being able to be really open about it. And I haven't really scraped the surface on my experience, but I do think that I would never want someone else to
hey, y'all, come look at this.
Feel that way. And I would never want someone else to be making those sort of plans, and I would never want someone else to not be believed. So if me voicing what I have overcome will save someone, or ask,
So that was a f***ing lie.
Or encourage someone in their life to really genuinely check in on them and not assume that the appearance is good so everything's okay, then that's worth it. I'll take a hit for that.
You have.
She wasn't happy, Lady C, was she? Fact. But a little veiled threat there too. I've only just scraped the surface. I guess there's much more coming in her book. What did you make of it?
Well, I thought the whole thing was laughable. I actually thought that Jane Pauley was very good. I actually think that whole thing was very carefully scripted. I do not believe that Jane Pauley for 1 second surprised her. I think that it was even
hey, y'all, come look at this.
Scripted where she was supposed to touch Harry's hand, and Harry refused to give her his hand. And Jane Pauley went with the script, even though she was aware. Now, Dan, you're a professional. Fact. You would actually, if you wanted to rescue the person, you would amend the script. Oh, I see, she had touching his knee. She didn't. She said hand. I thought that Jane Pauley,
wait for it,
who incidentally has had huge problems with manic depression and suicidal tendencies. So I think she was as convinced about Meghan's suicidal ideation as I was. And when I was growing up as a teenager and I was as trapped as I was, I had to face the fact that suicide might actually end up being the only valuable alternative to solving my
you serious?
problems. So And also, I am an ambassador for SOS Silence of Suicide, which Michael Mansfield, the famous advocate, created because his daughter died from suicide. And you know, I mean, it's a hugely important topic. And to have this little, filthy little artificial scrubber pretending that she has had suicidal ideation when it's quite obvious.
Wait for it.
She hasn't. First of all, if you have at all contemplated suicide, you don't smile while talking about it. No. It is truly offensive that you would be smiling while talking about it. And this faux nobility.
Fact.
Oh, I'm going to take a hit for people. I mean, she's taking a hit for. It is so offensive, but she's
taking a hit for lying, isn't she? That's what she's taking the hit for. That's the only criticism that she's had. We know she's lying.
Yeah, but she's pretending that she's setting herself up to be reviled because she's so noble. She has to be one of the most
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Noble personalities I have ever had the displeasure of encountering in public life. She is truly an appalling human being. I thought that Jane Pauley handled it brilliantly because Jane
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
Pauley was really quite mocking of her.
Well, she was. And actually, you could tell that Meghan was not liking Jane Pauley at all. I actually want to show you another moment where that becomes really clear, Lady C. So let's watch along.
Okay.
The two of you, this is, it's a modest beginning. You know, it's not an army of parents yet.
No.
But what are your ambitions?
I think you have to start somewhere.
Oh my God!
I think the simplest thing that anyone watching this or anyone who's able to make change, to look at it through the lens of what if it was my daughter? What if it was my son? My son or my daughter who comes home, who are joyful, who I love, and one day, right under my roof, our entire lives change because of something that was completely out of our control. And if you look at it through the lens as a parent, there is no way to see that any other way than to try to find a solution.
Oh, it was just a lovely dig, wasn't it, Lady C? Modest beginning, and you can just see Meghan raging inside. But
well, you know, Jane Pauley's a very, very good interviewer, and she's very professional. And she knows about
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Suffering. She is a victim herself of suicidal ideation and of manic depression. You know, you can't fool the real ones. And she managed, managed to make it as earthed as it was possible. But what I found really offensive is that Meghan is pushing a censorship agenda on the back of,
wait for it,
parents who have lost their children to suicide.
Oh, no.
And she has no concept of the issues involved, and she is invalidating the parents'
okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
Experience. And indeed, the motivation that drove these children to suicide, with coming up with her rubbish. I mean, it is so truly offensive to anybody who knows anything about the subject. And I have no doubt that Jane Pauley was instructed, as you will have been on many an occasion when you were with GB News, or wherever else. And I'm sorry, Matt, I'm sniffling because I think Aurora's fur seems to be bothering me. But they're on a rampage.
I hear you. I hear you, yep.
You're totally disconnected from reality.
Lady C, I have to congratulate you because we haven't spoken on air since you launched the incredible GoFundMe campaign for Thomas Markle, a good man who has been treated so appallingly, not just by his daughter, but also by his son-in-law, Prince Harry. And initially you said a £10,000
You serious?
goal. Oh my goodness, Lady C, you have smashed it. I looked last night, £56,000 you've raised for Thomas Markle. Now, this is really critical to point out. He has medical costs. The family never asked for this. It's something that you did off your own back. But how amazing that we've all been able to show our support to Thomas Markle, a great man who never deserved the treatment from his daughter to trash him on an international scale.
Well, Dan, somebody said on my channel that somebody should do something. And I thought, well, yeah, it's a good idea. Well, I'll do it. I mean, if I wasn't going to do it, who was going to do it? And I feel that Thomas Markle is a King Lear character, and that Meghan is the combination of Goneril and Regan, and let's call her Goneregan, and it sounds like something transmissible. And
I was wondering what you were saying there for a second.
There's a good reason for it, because really she is toxic. But I didn't do it for her. I did
You serious?
it for him.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought that because you see, my mother mistreated her mother. And I understand a lot of what Thomas Markle is going through, just because of what happened with my mother and my grandmother. And I mean, you and I both know Thomas Markle, and he's a decent, kind man. And also, Gigi Perot, who was Meghan's
Wait for it.
drama teacher, is a great friend of a great friend of mine. And I met her through Elaine. And she said to me, Thomas Markle was the most wonderful, kind, generous. He was.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
Always doing things for the school, and you know, without any question of approbation, reward, anything. He's just a nice man, and my experience of him has been he's a nice man. But I know it through Gigi that he is genuinely a nice man, and so I thought he deserves it. And I thought if I could, in some small way, and I didn't expect it to be as successful as it has been. I just thought if I did it and I set it at £10,000, and it's well over 50,000 now, but if I'd set it, I thought I'll set it at 10,000, and at least it gives people an opportunity to show that they care, and that there are decent people in the world, and that people do understand that there's room for compassion. I mean, what does Meghan have to forgive her father for? The fact that she set up an interview with Jack Rayner and got and organized it with Jack Rayner, who then approached Samantha.
That doesn't make sense.
And as Thomas Markle has said, it's quite clear she never wanted him at the wedding at all. He's never received an invitation. She told him it was lost in the post. I mean, excuse me, clearly he was set up from the word go. Why? Because he was trying to rescue his reputation. I was told by people at the palace that the late Queen offered not only for Harry and Meghan, her father and her mother. They accepted on behalf of the mother, they refused it on behalf of the father. And everything that I have seen happen, and my understanding of Thomas Markle, which will be far more limited than Meghan's,
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
She understood it. She slammed his buttons hard enough. He'd if not croak, he'd certainly be so so destroyed by it all that he wouldn't come to the wedding, which is precisely what happened. And as he
What?
said to her and to Harry, well, aren't you sorry I'm not dead? Because, and that, I think, was really the objective of the exercise. Yeah. I think he alighted upon the object of the exercise.
Are you serious?
Because Meghan doesn't want her father around. She doesn't want Harry to know her father, because she doesn't want Harry to ever hear from her father the truth about her. But Harry is now seeing the truth about her and told that things are not honky-dory. Harry, the scales have been falling off Harry's eyes. Thank God. At least he
Are you serious?
can save himself and hopefully the two children. His children, he can hopefully save from really what is a fate worse than death. Because really, to live with somebody like Meghan is really an awful, awful fate. I know what I'm speaking about. I've lived with a Meghan, and you know, it's really, it's like having,
wait for it,
an egg beater in your brain.